man, I really enjoy a nice beverage and listening to a good record on my turntable. You know, I told everybody about my old turntable. I don't think I ever told them about my new turntable. I should do that. Hold my Kool-Aid. What we have here is a JVC JL-A40 turntable. This particular turntable is direct drive. It's not quartz lock, but it is direct drive. It's also auto return, which makes it a semi-automatic turntable, not a fully automatic. So with the fully automatic turntables, you can just press a button and it'll move the tone arm over, and then when it reaches the end of the record, the tone arm will move back on its own. With this one, you do have to manually move the tone arm over, which I actually kind of like. I think it's a bit of a connection to the record and to the record playing experience, so I actually enjoy that. However, I'm very, very much attached to the auto return. I think it's really nice, because then you can put on a record, you can go about what you're doing, and listen to the record and enjoy the record, and not worry about getting right back over here when it reaches the end of the record. So if you're doing dishes, you know, it's not always convenient. You got, you know, soapy hands or whatever to come running out and try to take the record off the record player. It just doesn't always work. So I think it's a very nice convenience to have. This turntable does use a standard head shell here with a U-mount cartridge. I'm using the Audio-Technica AT95E, which has served me very well. I think the sound from it's really good. By no means am I an audiophile, so I don't know. Somebody will disagree with me, right? But it's a reasonably priced cartridge that I think is really good sound. Now, this is not the head shell that came with the machine. This is actually the head shell that came with the machine. The turntable did not come with a stylus when it was brand new, so this one actually has a Stanton cartridge on it. I definitely do tend to prefer this Audio-Technica cartridge that's on here. I also kind of like the more streamlined look of the Audio-Technica head shell, but the JVC one that came with it I think is really nice too, and it's really unique. I haven't really seen anything quite like that. So along with having the replaceable head shell also comes the need to be able to adjust the counterbalance and the anti-skate, which this unit does have. It's got a nice weight back here for adjusting the counterbalance, and then an anti-skate adjustment over here, which I had mentioned this ring inside here being useful, since the backside of it, if I can get it off of here, since the backside is nice and smooth, it's actually pretty useful. If you put it on here this way, you can take your stylus and you can place it on here and adjust that anti-skate to get it to hold still. Now you gotta be careful though, because that is moving awfully close to the center and it can trip that auto return, and you don't want it coming out into the rubber mat. So watch it when you're doing that, right? So you don't wreck your needle, but it does actually help with that as well. So I thought it was a pretty cool thing to have there. Now from over here, we can see the controls a little bit better. I'm not gonna do a full setup of a turntable in this video. Maybe a separate video I'll do that. There's tons of them out there, but just in case, for some reason, you want to hear my voice telling you how to set up a turntable, I might do that in the future. Now with this, I had mentioned the weight adjustment back here in the back, so you do have that, and the anti-skate, as I pointed out earlier. Now here we have your speed control, so it allows you to make it faster, make it slower, and then your speed adjustment for the speed select. So if you want 33 RPM or 45 RPM, that's there. Now this lever right here is the cueing lever, so that will raise it up to allow you to move it over to your record so that you can get it positioned where you would like it, and then you just go ahead and flip it and the tone arm will lower down. I know a lot of people like to fully manually move that tone arm over without having the cueing lever. I'm not that precise with it, and I have a feeling that if I didn't have a cueing lever, I'd probably wreck quite a few styluses or styli or whatever you call multiple stylus. So I'm very happy that I have the cueing lever. Now also, if I want to stop playing the record at any point, I also have the reject lever, which what that'll do is it'll cue the tone arm up and it will return it back. So it's very similar to the function of the auto return when the tone arm reaches the inside of the record, which we can set that up right quick here so that you can see it. So probably right about there. So we'll go ahead and drop it down, and then hopefully that'll scooch in there and return. Hopefully I got it close enough to the inside that we don't have to sit here for a long time waiting for that to happen. So and there you can see it hit the run out groove, hit the end, and returned back. So very nicely, what it should do. You can also see the light here at the front to actually help you with adjusting the speed. So it acts as a strobe there, so you have that as well. Of course, there is the 45 RPM adapter. That is not the stock one. It's actually, I think, one I picked up from Audio Technica. I just kind of like the silver of it to go with it, but it did have the place for one over here. Alright, well, I'll go ahead and put this record away, lock my tone arm down, and turn this thing around so that we can see some of the hookups on the back of it. I hope they can forgive me for not unhooking the cables from my receiver, but as many of you know, when you have a lot of stereo equipment, that's not the easiest thing to do. So what you'll see here, though, is we have the RCA cable as well as the grounding wire. This does not have an internal preamp, so you do need to have a preamp either built into your receiver or a separate preamp. And then we also have the power cable. You'll notice that all of those are permanent fixtures. So it's one shortcoming I think that this turntable has. I do wish that those were replaceable. You need to be careful with them so that you don't damage them. Otherwise, you're going to have a little bit of an electronics job having to take this thing apart and solder in some new wires. So there might be a benefit to the sound to have them non-replaceable. I don't know. But I would prefer that they were replaceable. You can also see the hinges here. These hinges are really beefy, and they do a really good job of holding the lid up. Nice and smooth. I've been very pleased with them. So my last turntable had a different style of hinge where a piece of acrylic off of the dust cover actually stuck into the hinge, and those just broke off like crazy. And I've also seen a lot of turntables where the dust cover's cracked or the hinge starts to have problems. No problems with these hinges, so totally happy with that. So one area that I think they could have done slightly better on this turntable really is it's not a very heavy turntable, and the feet don't have any spring or anything really to them, so they really don't do much. They look like they would turn and adjust the height, right? But that doesn't seem to happen. They just kind of turn. Doesn't seem to actually move anything. So what I have this set on right now is really heavy and quite substantial. So my record plays pretty well without really skipping, even with the kids running around the house. Previously, I had it on something not as substantial and had a lot of problems with the kids going by and skipping the record, which of course is not good for your record and definitely not good for your stylus. So at that point in time, I got some of these guys off of Amazon, just a little cork piece that has some rubber on the outside, and put them underneath the feet, and that actually did provide some cushion. So if you do get this turntable, or any turntable for that matter, and you're having that type of trouble where you're getting a lot of vibration from the floor, from the speakers coming into it, something like this underneath the feet can be quite helpful. I mentioned that I had tried out an acrylic mat on here, and this is actually the one that I got. I picked it up also off of Amazon. It's supposed to give you better sound, supposedly it makes the platter more one with the record because it's made out of a similar material. I didn't find that to be true. I don't think it really took away from the sound for the most part. I did end up adding a felt mat between the acrylic platter and the platter itself, and I think that that helped because I was getting a little bit, I don't know the right word, maybe resonance when I just had the acrylic mat. But with the felt mat and the acrylic mat, I think it sounds just about as good as the rubber mat. I can't really tell the difference between the two. However, I use the acrylic mat because I think it looks kind of cool and it actually catches the light. And you can kind of see here where the edge looks like it's glowing. So it's actually, it's really neat. And even under the record, you can kind of see that peeking out the edge there. And when you have like a clear record on here, it really does give it a neat look, in my opinion. But of course, that looks probably not for everybody. So just figured I'd mention it since I did mention the acrylic mat earlier. All right, final thoughts on the JVC JL-A40 turntable. I'm very pleased with it. I think the sound quality is great. I think all the adjustments that it affords me are fantastic. The universal mount cartridge is great because I can just swap them out. I can try different cartridges. I can find the one that sounds right to me. So that is a huge plus. My previous turntable was a P-mount cartridge, which it sounded good, but those things are very limited in what you can get. There's really, I'm not sure anybody other than Audio-Technica is even making them anymore. So you don't have a lot of choice with those. Whereas here, I got a world of choices from all kinds of different manufacturers. So yeah, I would recommend this. You know, if you go into it knowing it's not fully automatic, so you're going to have to move the tone arm over. It's fairly hefty, but it's not the heaviest turntable out there, so it's not going to absorb a ton of vibration. So know your environment. If you need something that's going to do that, you're going to have to worry about what you set this on to try to absorb the vibration. Also know that the cables are permanently attached, and you will need a preamp for it. So if you take all of that into account, and none of that gets in your way, this is a fantastic turntable. I've seen them for some really good prices out there. I would highly recommend it if it's in the price range and the feature set that you're looking for. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully this has been informative and helpful. If you do have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. Hit that subscribe to know what other videos I post. You can also hit the bell to adjust the notifications so that you get notified for everything. If you would like, that'd be fantastic. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. But if you do that, please let me know in the comments why you did. Nicely would be good. And that way I can try to do better next time. All right, thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great day. Now come over here. Now reach up and poke on my face. No, on the screen. Poke my face on the screen.